Welcome to Chat UFC, where fortunes are forged in the octagon. Are you ready to find out who's winning, who's worth your money, and how our exclusive Chat UFC model breaks it all down? Stick around, because we're diving deep into each fight with predictions that pay. Let's get ready to make some winning bets. All right, so we're going to break down here the parlay I'm putting in. I'm putting this in early. I've seen some line movement going the other way towards Ricky Turcios and Billy Alakana, who is just inserted into this card to replace Johnny Walker. So it looks like the betting lines are moving up. I have them currently on Bet Online listed a minus 300 for Bogdan Guskov and a minus 335 for Bernardo Sopaj. I really like this parlay, and I like betting it now for this reason. Currently, we have an implied probability of 77% and 75%. I have it projected at 78 and 75, so not much there. But what I really, really do like here is the advanced metrics, WHR and Glico 1. We have massive discrepancies. So if you look here, let's start with our first one, Bernardo Sopaj. He has a 1537 on WHR and a 1534 on Glico 1. Now, he's had one fight in the UFC. He got brutally knocked out by a very high-level fighter. He has some good experience in other leagues. He trains with Chimaev, and I do think that he is a step above Ricky Turcios in just skill level. Ricky Turcios is a dog. He will go in there and he will fight. But I do think that this is Sopaj's chance to get a little redemption after that knockout in his first fight. And he really did show himself very well in that fight. He looked good. He just too much for Oliveira. He just caught him with that flying knee. He's bigger fighter. Ricky Turcios is not physically imposing. He is not going to have a striking advantage, and he's not going to have a wrestling advantage. So I don't know where Turcios beats him here. The only thing I could see, and even there, it's like you can see Sopaj, he could get knocked out, but Turcios doesn't really knock anyone out. So he's going to have to piece him up, most likely on the feet for 15 minutes. I see the opposite happening. I see also a potential finish. I do like the fight does not go the distance, but it's mainly on the Sopaj side. So if anything, it's maybe him inside the distance. I've seen a plus 180. But overall, Sopaj, I think, is much better, and these ratings show it. 212, 220, in that range, 236 difference in ratings, and it's a pretty wide gap. That's usually levels above. Now, here's the other part of the parlay. Bogdan Guskov, he was originally going to fight Johnny Walker. He was a favorite against Johnny Walker. I think about a minus 180. So we've doubled that, actually less than doubled it. We're at a minus 300. It opened minus 330. I've seen most books, you'll see a little bit later, have it at a minus 330, minus 350. We're getting a minus 300. So for me, this is a steal. Billy Alakana looked pretty good on the regionals. He's trains in Las Vegas. So but they're throwing him in here, and they're throwing him in here against a beast. So unless Billy Alakana is just unbelievable prospect and he's just going a world beater, even then it would be tough to beat. Guskov, who's only lost in the UFC, is against Volkan Ozdemir. So I love this parlay. It's a two-teamer. At the current line, it's a minus 137, which is a great value in my opinion. Again, on this one too, if you look at the difference in WHR and Glico, we're looking at almost 300 points here. 33 there. So it's high. There's discrepancies. I think we're going to see the levels with both of these fighters, and I'm placing a pretty solid bet on it. So this is FightMatrix.com, one of my favorite websites for advanced analytics. They run all of the different metrics here. They got ELO K170 down here. They have ELO modified, Glico 1, WHR. My two that I use, Glico 1 and WHR, I think it's a good mix. They have it at a 79% and a 77%. It goes down a little bit on the ELO K 170 and ELO modified. I don't put as much stock into those, and that's just in general. You can see my breakdown videos. It's not necessarily just for this fight I'm saying that, but those are my two that I use. So it has it at 79 and 77. This 74% implied probability is actually for a minus 352. We are getting a minus 335, so it's a little bit less than that. So I see some good value here as well, and I do think it's situationally a good spot. Coming off the loss to Vinicius Oliveira, the 22-3 fighter. He got into the third round in that fight, and there were moments where Sopaj could have won that fight. It was a battle. It was a war. Great fight. So And then he was dominating in his regional scenes here with finishes. Ricky Tercios losing to Raul Rosas Jr. by submission. Kevin Navidad, he won a split decision. That is a 9-4 fighter. And then he lost a unanimous decision to Ayman Sahabi. So Sahabi's very good. But I just see a discrepancy here. So we see them here as well with the differentials here, 236 and 212. So that is where I'm basing most of this off of. Let's see if Guskov is here. Yes, they added it in here. Okay, so here's Guskov. Let's check out his record. He just knocked out Ryan Spann. He knocked out Zach Payuga. And before that, he lost a submission to Volkan Ozdemir, but that was more of a knockout. Anyways, it says minus 330 here. We are getting a minus 300. Billy Alencana fighting regional guys, TKO, a split decision, and a unanimous decision. So not even as impressive as some of these performances that Guskov has put on in the UFC and Billy fighting on the regionals. So take that into consideration as well. We go down to, again, my main reason for taking this. We have on the Glico 1, 87.15% win percentage and an 83.89 win percentage. Differentials very, very high. And at 330, the winning percentage is 73.95. So obviously that comes down. And I feel like, again, we are getting value. It's tough to get value on big favorites. It just is, because people love to throw them in parlays. But when we can find one, you hammer it, because I think we're going to see just different levels here, different levels of skill and different levels of just overall physicality and ability, and the ability to get wins in the UFC. Like, I think that we can definitely take advantage of this spot here. So there you go. That's the FightMatrix breakdown here, comparing the advanced analytics. All right, the final thing I want to show you here, and this is important, especially in parlaying. I went over in my previous video about parlays in general, is you don't want to just randomly parlay fighters. You want to parlay fights that you believe action will come in on, you bet it early, and you secure a better line. That's the main point of it. Especially with larger favorites where maybe you don't have a big enough bankroll to just, lay the full $335 on Sopaj to win 100. You want to put them together and you want them to roll over and still get the value of the line. So we go in here. This is a full board. It's from fightodds.io. I recently discovered these guys, this website. It looks fantastic. It's got a ton of books on it, which is amazing. Real-time odds. They even got the Zach Reese Azamat fight up on here real early, so I like that. It's only on DraftKings and BetOnline. But okay, let's get into this. So let's find our fight here. Our first one, Bernardo Sopaj versus Ricky Tercios. So this is where I want to look across the board, and I want to see what average am I looking at here. So we got a minus 335. That's what I bet it at. Next one, minus 350, minus 313. That's a nice line right there. Who's giving that one out? Bet 105. I don't have them. Minus 402. So that's crazy. Who is this sportsbook? Who's this robbery? Jazz. Yeah, whatever. Not even a real sportsbook. Minus 360. Minus 375. Minus 360. Minus 335. Minus 325. Okay, so we're in that range. I'd say our consensus is looking minus 350, minus 360. There's some higher, there's some lower, but I would say the consensus is looking at minus 350. So we're getting minus 335. I like that. I like it all the way up to minus 400, but I like this a lot. And I think we get to minus 400. We'll see. I think the parlays will come in, and I think they will have Sopaj in there. I definitely do, because this is one of them, when you do a bigger parlay as well, you want to see paths to victory. And I just see many, many more paths to victory for Sopaj than Tercios. Okay, let's check out Bogdan Guskov. Again, we go to our bet online. That's what I put it at, a minus 300. We move over, we got minus 310. We got minus 330. You see a lot of books don't want to put him up right now. They don't really know much about Billy Alencana. And what this means, when a lot of the books don't have him up, they're waiting for action to come in on these other ones. These are soft lines, because this fight just got announced. So the other books are trusting these books that are, honestly have a lot more action coming into them. They're trusting them to filter out the line and get action on which side. And then when the line is more established, they will put their lines up. But what that means for us is we can find the best lines if we like a side. Minus 300, minus 310, minus 330, minus 310. That is the best line on the board, the minus 300. but we're looking at some minus 350s, minus 333, minus 330. Bet Online actually had a minus 330 and they brought it down, but I see that coming back up. So again, bet now, bet early, and that's how you win in this game. So there you go. We've broken all of them down. Those are the three things I wanted to look at for this specific fight. I'm not going to do my normal breakdown videos for these. I'm not going to separate them out and do all the highlights. We'll save that for, the bigger fights. But in terms of making money, I think this is a great spot. And I recommend you guys placing the parlay early, not waiting till fight night, because a lot of you are not going to want to lay higher than minus 150. And if this starts going up, you're going to lay minus 150, minus 200. You might throw in another guy, and who knows what happens. So get on it early, but that's the pick. Parlay, Bogdan Guskov, and Bernardo Sopaj. Currently at these lines, it's paying minus 137. Take it to the window.
Like, comment, and subscribe for weekly betting predictions brought to you by Chat UFC.